All right, everybody. Well, good evening, good night, good afternoon, good morning, whenever it is you tune in. Hope all is going well. Uh, yeah, I am here. Trey's not here, and that's what we were waiting for. I think something messed up with his hotspot, so we're going to be on the lookout for him if he can return. In the meantime, let's take a look at who else is here with me. We got Bubba Gump, King Trey Way. I'm looking for the other Trey right now, but glad to have you here at least. Pat and Norris, how's it going? Got Gap Boy. I'm just going to call you that. At least Maggie T. Are we in agreement on who the head coach is now? Thank you very much. Red Swarm, how's it going? JB, how's it going? I agree. William Amy. Wavy. We got Stephen B. Your sources are probably about as reliable as D. Coleman's sources were last week if you didn't pay attention to last week's stream. Yeah, I guess we had the wrong play-by-play analysis because he must have been watching AEW or something. Yeah, watch the right product, D. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share this out, I do have an announcement of my own that I can make. Timothy, member here, appreciate you. Yeah, who else is here? Well, Jerry Bowie, how's it going? We got Dembo. Yo, do yourself. Anthony, we're gonna find out. Play a stats. I had a couple of unfamiliar names for me. Wallace's names. Not a whole. Well, actually, quite a bit. I was gonna say like same old, but I just started a new job yesterday. So that's pretty interesting. I do like where I'm at now. Another full-time spot, but I still have the weekends open, so I can do this. Hopefully with other people, that's always cool. Well, let's take a look here. I think that's about everyone that we're going to grab here. So yeah, the one announcement I think I want to say, and I think I'll just do it before the show. I kind of want to wait for Trey to get here so I can get his reaction on it too, but I just don't know if it's going to happen. I might be showing up in Atlanta in the season during the actual NFL season, and I might be down there for a week. I don't know the dates just yet because I'm still waiting for the NFL schedule, and hopefully we can line things up. But yeah, things are moving. I'm going to be there with the group, and they're going to be making plans, so I'm going to be making plans with them. So yeah, share that out if you're interested. I don't know what's going to happen as we get there. We're probably going to, hit a couple of restaurants, hit a couple more burger spots and things of that nature, get a tour, get a view of the city, hopefully meet some of the other members of AFN. That'd be really cool. And yeah, it's about it right here. Yeah, well, appreciate that. Hopefully you get everyone else there too. Yeah, you better believe I'm trying to head over to like a Falcons game, probably like the Falcons Saints game. That's probably the one I'm shooting for. But I just got to know when that takes place so that we can plan that date accordingly. Goodness gracious! Again with these messages when we're trying to be live. Okay, I'm gonna have to check this for myself because I can't be trusting in anybody else coming in here with the expectations that they're just gonna assume that they're saying the right thing. So, all right, what's going on here? I'm not even gonna put it up right now until I can verify it for myself because it only makes sense to do that. Okay, what are y'all sources? Because why the heck are they making this announcement at 8:30 in the morning? At 8:30 at night? Come on now. Now, what do we have? What do we have here? All right. Raheem Morris hire Zach Robinson as offensive coordinator. So it is true, I guess. I got other source. Crap. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Man, that was quick for a. My goodness, man. Dude, I'm trying to get like 10 minutes apiece. So I'm trying to be live. All right, well, let's read this together. The Atlanta Falcons coaching staff under new head coach Raheem Morris has just landed perhaps its biggest addition. Atlanta has hired Los Angeles Rams quarterbacks coach and pass game coordinator Zach Robinson to be its new offensive coordinator, according to NFL Network. The Falcons agreed to terms with Morris previously, the Rams defensive coordinator, to be their next head coach on January 25th, ending an extensive search in the aftermath of Arthur Smith's firing on January 7th. Morris and Robinson have a close relationship in the former and had the latter on his list of assistant coaches during the interview cycle per Sports Illustrated. Prior to accepting the job in Atlanta, Robinson received interest from several other teams for their offensive coordinator openings, including the Las Vegas Raiders, Pittsburgh Steelers, Chicago Bears, New England Patriots, and New Orleans Saints. Robinson, 37 years old, has spent the last 5 seasons in Los Angeles, serving as an assistant quarterbacks coach in 2019 and 2021, assistant receivers head coach or receivers coach in 2020, and quarterbacks coach and pass game coordinator the past 2 years. Rams quarterback Carson Wentz, who was signed as a free agent halfway through the season, worked closely with Robinson while getting up to speed within Los Angeles' offense and walked away impressed with the experience. All right. Working with Coach Robinson has been a lot of fun, getting to know him personally, but then also just all the extra work we get after practice. Wentz said he's been awesome. He's been nothing but help, and all my questions I've just probably felt like of driving him nuts. But it's been fun to get to work with him. He's an awesome guy, and he definitely understands the game, understands this game, understands this scheme, and has an awesome resource, and has been an awesome resource for me. Prior to his time with the Rams, Robinson worked at Pro Football Focus as a senior analyst. Oh, there we go with the PFF background. Evaluating both pro and collegiate quarterbacks, Robinson was a 3-year starter at quarterback for Oklahoma State University, where he attended from 2005 to 2009, and was selected by the Patriots in the 7th round of the 2010 draft. He also enjoyed brief professional stints with the Seattle Seahawks, Detroit Lions, and Cincinnati Bengals. In Atlanta, Robinson will take over an offense that ranks 17th in total yards per game, 26 in points, 22 in passing yards, and number 9th in rushing. The Falcons returned several key players from the unit, including a trio of playmakers, tight end Kyle Pitts, receiver Drake London, and running back Bijan Robinson, still on rookie contracts. Further, each of Atlanta's starting 5 offensive linemen are under contract for the next season, giving Robinson a strong foundation to build from. The biggest challenge ahead for Robinson is figuring out quarterback, where the Falcons currently have Desmond Ridder, Taylor Heinicke, and Logan Woodside under contract, but owner Arthur Blank dubbed their performance this past season as deficient. Smith was fired in part due to the offense's inconsistency and an inability to consistently involve the weapons at his disposal. Now it's Robinson's turn to fix it, which makes him a particularly integral piece to Morris's first coaching staff in Atlanta. And I think that's about it from that. Well, that was fun. Is anything else going to happen while I'm on stream? Not even 10 minutes passed. Goodness gracious. I was just waiting for Trey. I didn't know that they were going to be making moves. Okay. Man, really wish I would have made a different thumbnail now. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's a shocker. Give me time to process that. I got to look up the rest of the Rams. I already have like the Rams defensive stats because I wanted to look at that to see what Raheem Morris was doing defensively over there. And now I got to get all their offensive stuff for Zach Robinson. Let's just do. All right, give me just a second. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do this for you guys. You guys can see right here the offensive rankings for the Rams this past season. They've been 8th in scoring. I'm going to say, right? Yeah, 8th in points for, 7th in total yards, 6th in turnovers lost, 2nd in fumbles lost, 8th in first downs, top 10 in passing yards, 15th in passing touchdowns, net yards per attempt at 7th in the league. And then in rushing, they were almost just as good over there. 11th in rushing, we were 9th, but I mean, you guys saw the emergence of Kyron Williams, so 8th in rushing touchdowns. Scoring percentage, 7th in the league, really good. Then the average drive time is in the top 10s for everything right there. So, I mean, the results that speak for himself as far as last season goes. Let's see about the year before because they were part of that unit as well. They were 32nd in yards, but this is again with a very like injury riddled season for them. So I'm kind of having to take these numbers with a grain of salt, knowing that they didn't really have everybody that they wanted in the 5-12 season that they ended up going through. Whereas this season, I think it's a little bit more of what they were expecting to have. As far as conversions go, they're 8th and 3rd down offense, 4th and 4th down offense, 4th in the red zone. You hear that right, guys? They're 4th in the red zone on offense. Goodness gracious. Can you imagine being good in the red zone, guys? Defensive ranks, I'd imagine, will get slightly better given the crew that we have on defense. We're just a little bit more established. Although they had some really good pieces over there, too. I mean, obviously, outside of Aaron Donald, you guys got guys like Kobe Turner and stuff that made a resurgence. One of the better defensive tackles in the NFL. So these ones, I imagine, will get better considering, the control that we'll have on that side of the ball. Man, this is. Let's hope that let's hope that this is good. I don't know yet. There's a whole reason as to why I brought up the questions like why Raheem Morris can be the right head coach for Atlanta. We don't exactly know, but man, this is okay. Dude, if I'd have really just waited for like 15 minutes, think of how much more useful this would have been for me. Okay. Man, this threw off my whole entire game plan for the rest of the stream. I wanted to know more about Raheem Morris. I don't know about you guys, but now I'm trying to learn about Zach Robinson on the spot, live in front of everybody here. So, no pressure, huh? Okay, I think we'll be good there. What I then want to share with you should be this screen here, because we were going to be able to look at the ranks for Raheem Morris defensively, because we want to see where his track record has been. What I really want here is the defensive coordinator. Obviously, we're not going to care about so much about the offensive side of the ball. So let's take a look at the defensive rankings: 20th, 19th, 30th, and takeaways. Okay, gotta hope that gets better here. I mean, they're really up there as far as the stopping the run. Although they gotta, geez, those people need to recover a fumble. Passing defense, ours was really great, and we'll have to see how much of that will take a step back because of Ryan Nielsen leaving for Jacksonville. We still have Jerry Gray with us here in the secondary. And you got to have the mindset that Raheem Morris will know what to do as far as the corners and stuff, given the rapport that he built up with Jalen Ramsey to make him feel good about this hire, as well as like the other people that we're seeing. Like I think Mad Mike was, I think he just put up a quote from Kyle Shanahan talking about how much he wanted to have Raheem on his staff. But yeah, I mean, dude, even at 34 years old, this dude took Tampa Bay to a 10-6 record with Josh Freeman. If you if you guys have followed with VF Baller, he made a statement saying like Josh Freeman was pretty much like an equivalent if you like mashed up Cam Newton with Desmond Ritter. So like, yeah, imagine having a 10-6 season with that. Okay then. Another thing that happened. Now, I didn't have a screen for this. Let me pull something up for here. Okay, let me. All right. You don't really have to be anymore. You gotta assume that all that stuff is going to change, given that Arthur Blank would be furious if Raheem didn't make a move there. Speaking of Arthur Blank making moves, we'll have to see that this was also a part of something. Falcons coach Raheem Morris, Terry Fontenot to report directly to Arthur Blank. So Rich McKay moved out over to soccer, out of day-to-day football operations. Now, when I had this statement about like, dude, you guys you're kind of yelling at like the wrong person, because how they described him to us, at least like from me reading it, it didn't seem like he had that much power, or that he had that much control, or that he had that much say so, especially in the day-to-day operations, when the problem for us was that we were trying to blame him for on the field situations. And like that one, I just never understood. So I didn't understand the logic to try to blame Rich McKay for that. Not trying to defend him for something that he, doesn't do. But at the same time, I know that certain people will complain about the wrong person for the wrong reasons. And they do it a lot. So I was always like under the impression that like, okay, well, this is probably a situation where they don't know who to blame. So they're just blaming a person that's been in the building the longest. But there was more to this than what I had initially had. And this is why we're having this conversation. So yeah, we'll just we'll just read this for now. Okay. In a restructured Falcons front office, Coach Raheem Morris and General Manager Terry Fontenot will report directly to owner Arthur Blank on all football matters. CEO Rich McKay remains CEO of Sports and Entertainment and continues to represent the team on league matters and the NFL's competition committee. President Greg Beadles will continue to oversee all day-to-day business operations. Okay, well, that was that. It shows you my loyalty to the AJC. Couldn't read the rest of the article. It's locked out. All right, but here's a couple of articles that we can watch, that we can read together. So let me just pull this up. Let's get this one going. All right, statement from Falcons owner Arthur Blank, Terry Fontenot on new head coach Raheem Morris. All right, so Arthur Blank has already worked with Raheem Morris. Obviously, the two spent 6 seasons together from 2015 to 2020 when Morris moved through the franchise's ranks, starting as the assistant head coach / defensive pass game coordinator and ending as the interim head coach. Now, Morris returns in 2024 as the Blanks official as Blank's official head coach. All right. Below is the full statement from Arthur Blank. Okay. This is a historic day for the Atlanta Falcons. After a comprehensive search, we are thrilled to welcome Raheem Morris back to Atlanta as the team's new head coach. With 26 years of experience in the NFL, including the last 3 in an outstanding organization that has won our league's championship in that time, Raheem emerged from a field of excellent candidates and is the right leader to take our team into the future. His time in LA has given him an enhanced perspective on everything from personnel, team operations, game planning, working with an outstanding offensive staff, and many other things that has helped him to develop into an even more prepared coach in all aspects of the game. I believe his leadership skills have grown and his understanding of what it takes to have a highly collaborative one-team culture are now at a much higher level. And here's what Terry Fontenot has to say. I'm beyond excited to work side by side with Raheem and bringing a championship to Atlanta, hence my thumbnail. We have conducted one of the most thorough and comprehensive searches and saw many incredible candidates through this process. Raheem is the right fit for our team, culture, and shared vision for success in Atlanta, and I cannot wait to start working with him and have his energy in our building. All right, so here's a copy of the team release regarding the Morris news. Falcons are naming Raheem Morris as the team's head coach. Yep, so Morris and general manager Terry Fontenot will report directly to Arthur Blank on all football matters. And then we just already kind of read this stuff. Morris becomes the 19th head coach in Atlanta Falcons history and takes over the club after spending the past 3 seasons as defensive coordinator for the Los Angeles Rams. This was just already said. Okay. Yeah, I was talking about Kobe Turney. So let's take a look at this. Over the past 3 seasons, Los Angeles defense has recorded the 4th best red zone efficiency rating and 7th fewest rushing yards per game in the NFL. His 2023 unit was one of the youngest in the NFL, but helped the Rams earn a playoff berth and featured Rams 3rd-round rookie defensive lineman Kobe Turner, a finalist for the AP Defensive Rookie of the Year award. Turner and Byron Young tallied a combined 17 sacks, finishing 1st and 2nd among all rookies. You hear that? All right, cool. Turner's 9 sacks matched 3-time NFL Defensive Player of the Year Aaron Donald's franchise rookie record, 9 in 2014, while Young's 8 sacks ranked 3rd among rookies in franchise history. All right, so in 2022, Morris led a Rams defense that led the NFL in red zone efficiency, 44%, ranked 2nd in goal-to-go efficiency at 53.3%, 7th in interceptions at 16, and 9th in defensive total rush earned points, just EPA. It was like expected points or something like that, 42.97. During the 2021 season that culminated in the Super Bowl title, the Los Angeles defense averaged 1.5 takeaways per game and featured 3 players, Donald, Leonard Floyd, and Von Miller, ranked in the top 20 in sacks. Additionally, Morris's unit ranked third in sacks with 50 and fifth in tackles for loss with 85 during the regular season. All right, here's a statement from Morris himself. I'm overjoyed for the opportunity for my family and I to return to Atlanta as the Falcons head coach. We know from firsthand experience what a first-class organization Atlanta is and what this team means to the city and to its fans. I'm incredibly appreciative for Arthur Blank for his leadership and for this entire organization for putting its trust in me to help lead this team. I can't thank the Rams organization enough for the experience and the opportunity with the team. From the Kroenke family, Kevin Demoff, Les Snead, Sean McVay, and the entire staff. The Rams are a first-class organization all around. We love our time in LA. Love the fans. We know the Rams continue to have a very bright future. All right. Well, here's another statement. I think this is Arthur Blank saying here, it is hard to quantify the positive things Rich has done to impact our organization over the last 21 years, laying a strong foundation for our football team and getting Mercedes-Benz Stadium built and functioning as one of the best in the world, chief among them. While he'll no longer be involved in day-to-day football operations, Rich's role will broaden in our organization, and I'll continue to trust him with some of the most important work we're engaged in across the Blank family of businesses. All right. So, yep. Wait, Jay, we're already on you on that. We just get the news ourselves like 10-something minutes ago. How's it going, Dixon Way? What else has happened here? Yeah, that's what we find here. Let's take a look at something else. Okay. So let's go ahead and figure out why Raheem Morris fits with the Falcons. Morris is already someone the Falcons leadership liked. He's already someone the fan base knows. He's already someone longest tenured current Falcons. He's already someone longest tenured current Falcons players respect. That's a weird sentence. In a sense, the Falcons hired one of their own, someone they are more than familiar with, after a long and extensive interview process that spanned 18 days and 14 candidates. And it felt every bit of 14, and it felt every bit of 18 days. In the end, the Falcons hired a familiar face. Morris was with the organization for 6 seasons. He was the Falcons' interim head coach for the final 11 games of the 2020 season. So after starting 0-5, we went 4-7. Had it not been for Todd Gurley accidentally scoring, I guess we could have been 5-6. And there was that one game we had against Kansas City. So yeah, there was a couple of games that really would have made this look better. So I can't really hold this much against him as far as like the record, because there was a couple of plays, if you remember, that really could have went our way. And then when things did go our way, like the blowout win against the Raiders, that I was watching the game with a bunch of Raiders fans with out in public. Whew, that was uncomfortable. But at the time, the Falcons owner Arthur Blank said it was the right choice to promote Morris to interim head coach. He has the right kind of enthusiasm to lead the players in a positive way, Blank said back in 2020. He's worked with our receivers. He understands that side of the ball well. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's very positive. He's ready to go. I know he made the right choice with Raheem, and we'll see where he takes us. The players will definitely be supportive of him. Player support has been a constant staple of Morris's resume during his 20-plus years of coaching around the league. Everywhere he goes, Morris carries an aura of respect around him. That includes his most recent coaching stint with the Rams as their DC. The guy is coded to respect everyone, to build a relationship with everyone no matter where you're at in the organization, said General Manager Les Snead. in the end of the season news conference. What's awesome is as he does that, you just see the respect flow back in his direction. He's coded for that. It's a superpower that I think would help any organization. Things have changed significantly for Morris and the Falcons organization since going their separate ways 3 seasons ago. Though the Falcons interviewed Morris in 2021 for the head coaching job that ultimately went to Arthur Smith, Mr. 7-10 himself, the team Morris returns to is night and day different from the one he left. The team Morris knew in 2020 had to make significant cuts to the roster to get under the salary cap the following year. The team Morris knew spent 2 seasons trying to get right by the cap, finally able to make the moves in free agency this past offseason in 2023, bulking up its defense with the likes of Jesse Bates, David Onyemata, and Caden Nellis. The team Morris knew at the time of his departure was still months away from drafting Kyle Pitts with the number 4 pick in the 2021 draft, a year away from drafting Drake London at number 8, and 2 years removed from the 2023's first-round acquisition of Bijan Robinson. And, of course, the team Morris once knew had the stability at quarterback with Matt Ryan. Since then, the Falcons have seen the likes of Ryan, Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, and Taylor Heineke in the pocket. They're in need of quarterback in 2024. However, they've beefed up their defense, added weapons on offense, and found health by way of the salary cap. Now they are looking for sustained success from top to bottom after 3 consecutive seasons, going 7-10. As Blank said in his joint press conference with the team CEO Rich McKay after announcing the release of Smith as the Falcons head coach, Atlanta is in win now mode. The team needed someone to lead them to more wins. They hope the person who will lead them there is a familiar face. Okay. So let me just do this again, and hopefully we can get Trey back in here. All right. So now we're going to have Trey here. That's cool because I'm thirsty after all this reading. Now we can get some more reactions and stuff here. All right, in the meantime, let's take a look at what you guys have said. All right. I did see that. And I don't know. That's something else we were going to talk about because obviously that end of the article said that we're in win now mode, right? And that's coming from Arthur Blank himself. And I said that before that. You know, it's like, hey, if this team really wants to act as if it's in win now mode, then you got to get the pieces and you got to get the players in the right spots and then push them into a run that they can have. Could you do that with a rookie quarterback? I think Houston showed you that. I think the formula is there and it can be perfected. So yeah, I could see that as well. Was Zach Robinson calling the plays over there? I don't know if they mentioned that. Zach Robinson. Let's see. I like how the top story and like under the video section is about like some Tampa Bay fan from Mr. Bucks Nation, I guess. Like, oh my goodness, are we really gonna get Zach Robinson as our OC? Ugh, that aged like milk. Okay, he was just a passing game coordinator and quarterbacks coach, so I don't really know if he called plays, but he's definitely gonna help out a quarterback. And I think that if we get someone like that from the offensive coordinator position from a college, that could swing that direction, but nothing has landed yet. I say that Okay, yeah, I wasn't really expecting that he was. I don't know, man. I'm really keeping my head on a swivel because I was not expecting us to have the movement that we were at this time. Thought I was safe. All right, Trey. Well, just gonna see. All right, Trey's typing away. I don't know. Hopefully, hotspot's looking better. Okay. So as we wait for that, dude, Raheem Morris does not look 47 years old. Yeah, black really don't crack. Still waiting for D Coleman to come back because I think he said that's like, oh, I don't trust a brother that like can't grow facial hair. Well, you're gonna have to learn to trust him. What are you saying about Michael Pittman? Man, any minute now, we're just gonna be either waiting for Trey or waiting for more news. I can't. I don't know what's gonna happen first anymore. Okay. What I will talk about in the meantime is why certain people might not have fit as well, right? Because we can get all this convincing and all this like possible lip service about like, okay, well, he's the right guy, and we'll have all these statements from of this person. Um, but obviously, we know the direction that Jim Harbaugh went to. He's over with the Chargers. Uh, but Bill Belichick, he was the one that seemed to get a lot of attention from Arthur Blank. And with good reason, right? I mean, he's got the the history that you want in any kind of coach. But it just didn't seem like things were going to go his way to like really scale down to a position that would feel comfortable for both sides. And I think that was one of the things that it came down to was like, all right, well, Bill's either going to ask for too much or we weren't going to come to an agreement on what kind of staff that he would be bringing in. Maybe he would bring in some more familiar faces because I don't want to see Matt Patricia or Josh McDaniels milk over here if that's what hiring Bill Belichick was going to mean. So I'm gonna give Raheem Morris another chance, just like everybody else. I'm gonna give Zach Robinson a chance, I guess, right now. To be determined about the other spots. We will be keeping Marquise Williams as a special teams coordinator. So I think that'll be fun. I don't think it'll be fun for him to get back Avery Williams in the return positions as well. So we'll have that settled. We really got to figure out some more things at the free agency side of everything. And then we can really start talking about the draft. All right, so let's take a look here. All right, let's look at the situation that team will be looking at for the salary cap stuff. All right, so you got your people at the top with the biggest cap hit. I think that's how we're ranking this right here. Going off of the biggest cap hits. Jake Matthews with over 21 million. Grady Jarrett at just over 20 million. Chris Lindstrom at exactly 18 million. Jesse Bates at 17.5. Caleb McGarry at 12.5. Onyemata at 12.5. AJ Terrell at just over 12. Kyle Pitts just over 10. Johnny at 9. Well, I guess it makes sense of how much he got off the ball then. We're talking about that kind of cap hit. Anybody? Yeah, we can probably toy with this a little bit. In the meantime, if we can't get anything else to happen. Yeah, I want to play around with that right now. Okay, so I have Taylor Heineke at a $2 million cap hit. Or a dead cap, excuse me. Cordell Patterson. I think he just made a post recently about like how he's loading up to get ready for another year. You got to wonder if something is in place if he wants to stay. I wonder why this is in orange. But yeah, we got a couple of really interesting things to deal with. I mean, obviously, Terry Fontaine is going to help him out with all this. And at this point, I'm not even really so much as worried about what we do there. So, all right, let's bring someone else here.
Finally back in, man. Feels so long.
Exactly.
How's it going?
You were like the third loudest thing I hear right now.
Probably because of the rain.
Okay. Storming over there, huh? How's the weather on everybody else? It's pretty calm over here. Anybody else in a bit of a storm? 3 dirty. Will Avery Williams be a factor if or not to keep CP? He should be a factor regardless. Because obviously we didn't really have a chance to use him this season because he had that injury during camp. But yeah, I mean, normally he would be. Okay, yeah, it starts a few days ago. Been fine over here. So, guess I probably should have checked the weather on behalf of everybody else around us, huh? All right, so I'm thinking back to my thoughts that I had regarding Russell Wilson. And while I still think it's a solid approach to take, because it's a free veteran quarterback essentially, without having to worry about the cap space. And at that point, you're just worrying about the talent. But if you can take the any kind of talent or any kind of like mental experience and wisdom that he can offer to a younger guy that you can then draft in that same kind of position, then I think that would work in our favor moving forward. As far as like the quarterback themselves having to make those tough decisions, and then plus the assistance from a guy like Zach Robinson, I think you'll be bolstered up on that side of the ball offensively as far as the wisdom will go. Because, and then with Zach Robinson being a former player, that should also help him out too. For any kind of rookie quarterback we'll take, whether it's someone like Jaden Daniels or whether it's another rookie. Can't say just yet. Doesn't Kirk Cousins have ties to Raheem Morris? They do, because the 2013 Washington roster is just so ridiculous looking back. There's like 5 head coaches right now that are from that small little coaching staff. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I think that Zach Robinson's experience with Matt Stafford and Carson Wentz and things like that would lean in that direction, that he might be more helpful for a veteran already rather than having to build someone else up from like very little experience. So if you can get that to happen, right, and if you can get like your quarterback to trust your system, trust your scheme, and then trust the people that he'd be playing around with, and that's what led Carson Wentz to look as good as he did in that last game against San Francisco. Well, with Justin Fields, that's more of a Chicago decision before it becomes ours, because they have him, but then they also have the number 1 pick. So we'll have to see what they do there before we make a move. Whereas like with Kirk, I think he's just a free agent. So there's not much conversation to be had with Minnesota. And then there's this situation with Jacksonville with the possibility of extending Calvin Ridley. So then we can bolster up our draft positioning as well. And I do think that the Rams will get like a compensatory pick for us hiring Raheem Morris. I think they get like a 3rd round or 2. And then that's the other thing too. It's like we don't really know what Chicago would want to ask for either of like the number 1 pick instead, or just Justin Fields, and then maybe like another player or something, or like they're swapping draft picks or something. You know how they usually do. And it's so funny just looking back at the other things that I was going to have, like who's on the radar for the other filled out coaching staff positions, and like I couldn't even pull this up until someone else was already filling one up. What would I do? I already kind of mentioned what I would do. I'd probably just see what the situation with Denver and Russell Wilson's like. Bring him in for 1 year. You're not tied to him very long. You're not tied to him financially. You would just try to get his experience, and then you could be as aggressive as you want in the draft, and not necessarily have to be forced into selecting a Justin Fields, because you don't know what that's going to be as far as like who's going to be the number 1 quarterback and all that kind of stuff. So that way you can get like your ability to win now, if that's the position that you really want to take as with this roster, and then build yourself up for sustained success if Raheem Morris is going to have the ability to stay here for the 5 years that he's given. So how's it going, Eric, man? Shay, how much is Justin Fields owed? Well, let's take a look at that. We we'd have to trade for him. So it's not like a straight up signing. It would more likely be either a trade for picks or players. So let's take a look at what he would be, or what his value could look like for another team. And Trey's still on the back burner. He's trying to head home. All right, well, this is the number that Spot Rack has given me. Calculated market value estimated at $47 million a year. His current contract, he'll be a free agent in 2026. He's making $4 million a year, which is ranked 35th in quarterbacks. But his market could be negotiated into becoming the 6th quarterback with his market value possibility. But yeah, you never know what he would want out of what he's been given with the Bears situation and all that he's had to deal with. So yeah, I mean, if you're okay with spending $47 million on a quarterback that you still really can't tell if he's going to be worth the investment in, I kind of agree with that too. You can still get mobility with other people here. So that's kind of the situation. All right. Doing all right, Trey? Just trying to see if you're still there. How's your sound? Can you say anything? All right. Said like the hat. Yeah, it's my thinking bucket. We'll see. I mean, we got to get a feel for what Raheem would be like as far as the aggressiveness that he might be asking for Terry Fontenot to make. What do you think we'll resign from our roster? Well, let's go back. Actually, let's look at this together too. All right, let's get this settled in. Let's share what we know here. Okay. So the names that we have will be as follows: Calais Campbell, Cordero Patterson, Jeff Okuda, Bud Dupree, Mac Hollins, Keith Smith, Van Jefferson, Contavious Street, Trey Flowers, Scotty Miller, Michael Pruitt, Kadero Hodge, Matt Hennessy, Andre Smith, Joe Gaziano, Storm Norton, Logan Woodside, Ethan Greenidge, Albert Huggins. And then we have some ERFAs and Nate Landman, Ian McCullough, restricted free agent and Felipe Franks, and Newsel, and then we already signed Barry Wesley. So definitely Nate Landman. Liam, I don't know if he's the lone long snapper, but you got to bring someone in for that. Or if it was crap, who was the other guy? I know that we signed someone else that was like on the IR. If Cordero wants to come back, I think that he would have a better opportunity to have an offense to find himself in here. I did enjoy the effort that Bud Dupree gave, and I hope that he continues to have that same kind of energy coming back here. Pruitt, I don't really know. I think he'd probably follow wherever Arthur Smith might go if he goes anywhere. Storm Norton, absolutely keep him because he did wonders for us at right tackle whenever Caleb McGarry couldn't be there. And we were always like wishy-washy about Caleb McGarry. So the fact that Storm can come in and almost be just as good, if not better sometimes, that's a really good sign. Anybody else? Maybe Cadero, but again, he's approaching 29, 30 years old, but you got to wonder about his importance in the special teams place. And same thing for like Keith Smith. You know, as far as fullback, he's been solid. I don't know if he had as good of a year as he had in years past, but I think you would want to keep him around at least for special teams. You don't know yet for Matt Collins. Again, I don't know if we just didn't see enough of him because of who we had calling plays, or if it was a situation with performance. And then Calais Campbell, I don't think he's got nothing. So that's the other thing too. So to convince him, he might go back to Jacksonville, just to, because to be on the same wavelength as Ryan Nielsen. I think he really enjoyed being with him. So you never know. And then we traded for Van Jefferson. I don't know what to make of that situation. Street, I think we can just find a pick him back up somewhere else, some other way. Hennessy, maybe for depth purposes, either him or Newsill, but you could just try to get someone else too. They really wouldn't be starting because I think Drew Dalman has really solidified himself there. You're not really keeping Logan Woods. I don't really know if you're keeping anybody else from that quarterback room outside of Ritter, just on the fact that he's young and cheap. So, any other names? Maybe Joe Gaciano. I don't really see enough of him. Andre Smith, same thing. I didn't really see enough of him to really make a decision, like a yes or no here. And then Scotty Miller. Again, he's another tricky one. He can be really useful for an offense. I don't know how our offense could look like, though. I know, like, the idea for the main three, right? But outside of that, I don't know what kind of depth we're looking for. Because, I mean, if you look at the Rams, like, they used Puka, they used Kyron Williams, and I guess occasionally they use, like, Tyler Higbee or something like that. But other than that, like, they didn't really have a need for anybody else. I mean, and then Cooper Kupp just did not have the same year. So you got to wonder if, like, a second wide receiver that you could get from the draft would fare off better than anybody that you'd bring back from this list. Although I do think that Van Jefferson would have a little bit more potential. But at 28, you got to realize it a little bit faster than that. Especially in this league where they just pump out receivers. Chase Young, he might just stay in San Francisco for this year. But you never know. Brian Burns is interesting. Obviously, like Panthers got their coach too, so we don't know what kind of regime he'll start over there. And then with Tampa Bay looking the way that they are for the future, you just don't know for that too. Montez Sweat, same thing. I don't know if his reason for wanting to be here was because of like Arthur or something like that. If it was because of Terry or if it was because of like the other defensive line unit that we had, then sure. That interest will have to come from him though. And he's like still tied up and locked with a contract that's in Chicago. So you'd have to find a way to break free from that. Jacksonville's Josh Allen. Could be good. Like what he brought. All right. Trey?
Second time's a charm. We're good?
You tell me.
I'm in the house now. No more rain.
All right, cool.
Man, this week has been I can't really say this. No, I can't say this entire week. I guess the 17-year-old man isn't with us anymore. Man, oh man. Thank God. No, I'm about an hour late, but rather late than never, right?
Hey, I've been later at my job and still showed up.
How's it going, everybody, though? See everybody in the comments and everything.
I don't know if you saw I don't know if you heard the announcement earlier, but I'm making plans later on this year to head over to Atlanta for a week.
Oh, that's great. Come during when we play the Saints.
I mean, as soon as I figure out the schedule.
Good to know.
So I think that we'll get that in like, was it April or something?
Oh yeah. Well, no.
When's the schedule release?
That is May. Usually
it's like after the draft. Okay.
Yeah, like May 6th, 7th, or 8th most of the time.
Okay.
Was it the 11th this year? Oh no. Yeah, like May 6th, 7th, or 8th. Sort of like that second week after the draft.
Okay. So yeah, once I figure out that, then we can kind of plan ahead accordingly. I'll have a group to go over there, which is always good. And then like who I'm going with, like they've been in Atlanta for the past couple of years too, so they'll know a lot of the spots and they'll know a lot of they'll know their way around the city. So That's always good to know. Good to have with you as a resource going into a new city.
No one wants to be lost.
And then plus for a week too. Like if I would have done something like myself, I probably just would have went there for like a weekend and then would have felt like really rushed to enjoy being over there. But now I have more time because it's something that others have set up for me to go.
If only we had the draft down here this year. Should have went to the draft.
Oh, yeah. And typical, like, Roddy White's Julio Jones always open style. Gotta head up a Waffle House. Over there, too.
Just make sure you don't go at 12 o'clock at night.
All right, why? It's the best time.
It's also a little chaotic time. If you're in that type of area. Let's just say if you know, you know.
Yeah, I gotta work on self-defense.
Maybe you never know. People down here it's a lot of cool people, but it's also a lot of craziness down here in our beautiful Atlantic City. A lot of rain too, if you haven't noticed.
I mean, we get that a little bit over here too, but different type of rain, I guess. I'd assume. Dude, I don't know who I don't know who you're listening to, Austin, but I don't think a single person has even mentioned.
Oh God.
Oh, maybe Scotty right here, but okay, it might be in June. I just wanted to throw that out there now.
Scheduled release in June. I thought it was always May, because it was May this year. June is the start of OTA. Well, kind of end start of OTAs and mini camp and all that, and then July, last week of July is training camp.
I know that we knew the schedule.
Like, you know who you play
like a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, you know who you play literally when the season ends, or when your season ends. But schedule comes out like May, that second week of May. But let's talk a little Raheem Morris. Seeing we just
I'll let you go first because I just had an hour to myself.
Yeah. So
I'm looking at. I'll look up the date in which we'll like kind of figure that out.
Okay. But so I'm not gonna lie. When he was hired, I was kind of looking at a Bobby Slowick film review video, kind of, because I wasn't really expecting him to be hired, to be completely honest with you. I really wasn't. I was like, okay, maybe we're interviewing him a second time just because we had a lot of second interviews lined up. Jim Harbaugh, Belichick, Slowick, Raheem, Ben Johnson. I heard Mike McDonald had one lined up too. So it was a lot of people lined up for a second interview. So I'm looking at a film review of the Texans this year and seeing what type of pass concepts they have, and then I'm looking at another Atlanta Falcons video on people who we should have hired, or who we thought could have been hired. Of course, Bill Belichick was mentioned in that video, and then I'm getting ready to watch another video, and I turned on my phone, and I seen Mike was getting ready to start a live. I said, "Why is he getting ready to start a live at 4:15 in the middle of the day?" And they have a live set up for later. And I looked at my Twitter, and Raheem Morris has been hired. I'm like, oh, wow, okay, that's new. So, of course, my first reaction was, why Raheem Morris? I was kind of thinking off of frustration. I'm like, why Raheem? We just had him 3 years ago, so if we were going to hire him, might as well hire him this year. Well, that year. And I'm thinking, like, okay, they. But now that I've thought about it, it's kind of a great move. Well, not kind of. It is a great move, to be honest. One, he brings a lot of energy to a team that a lot of coaches need. Even Andy Reid brings a lot of energy to his team, even though the dude's like 66 years old and doesn't really seem like the most energetic guy. Just off of how his players are, he is a very energetic type of dude. Of course, we all know John Harbaugh is probably the most energetic coach left in. Well, other than Dan Campbell. And then, of course, Kyle Shanahan is Kyle Shanahan. I love the move, though. What he did with the Rams defense this year, with the amount of talent that they had and the amount of deficiency that they had at some positions, especially defensive end and cornerbacks specifically, he did a lot with that defense. Now, they weren't always the best, of course, when you have a lot of third, fourth round guys, a lot of no-name guys. Of course, you don't expect to be the number one defense or like a top 5 defense in the league. But he had them ranked in the top half of the league for most of the year. I think those last couple of games was where they kind of dropped down from like 15th to 20th throughout the year. But for what he did this year with the Rams, and then he also won the Super Bowl. He was also the defensive coordinator when they won the Super Bowl. I guess you can't say 3 years ago. Man,
it was his first year as one too.
Yeah, first year. So I love the move. I kind of feel like he got cheated a little bit back in 2021 2021 with all the amount of stuff we had going on that year, injuries going on. Julio Jones doesn't know what he wants to do. Calvin Ridley's having a breakout year. Yeah, you had Dirk Cutter as your offensive coordinator. I mean, what head coach is succeeding with that? And Mike Smith barely succeeded with that. I mean, it just wasn't right. We had a lot of the defensive line other than Grady Jarrett was just pitiful, like straight up garbo. When Dante Fowler is starting on your defensive line, you know you have a problem. Let's just be completely honest. If Dante Fowler and who was it? Because I was just watching the games, the highlights of the games we won when he was interim. It was like this 33-year-old defensive tackle we signed from the Chiefs that year.
Oh, was it? No. Was it Mike Pinnell?
Not him, even though he was on the team and he did suck too.
Ataba Rubin?
No, not him. He wore 93. Let me search his name. Let me just search up our 2020 Falcons roster. Okay. Okay, let me see. Defensive. Oh yeah, Tyler Davidson was one. We had Steven Means, Tyler Davidson, and Dante Fowler as our starting defensive linemen other than Grady. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think Poe was a little bit late for that.
Yeah,
Poe was here like 2017.
Yeah, Poe was there 2017.
I think if you're referring to Tyson Jackson, I think that was
Alan Bailey.
Too. Alan Bailey.
Yeah, he had a lot of playing time during that year.
Oh, wasn't that the year we had Charles Harris too?
Yeah, we did. Charles Harris, Alan Bailey.
What the heck happened to him?
Christian Blake was starting at wide receiver with Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley. James Carpenter was our starting left guard. Marlon Davidson was Marlon David. Darquez Denner was our starting cornerback on the other side of AJ Terrell. Jesus, I mean, you can't get worse than this. Todd Gurley knees were fried by week 6. And then the next week, the dude scores by mistake and we lose. I mean, you can't make the things that we had to go through up that year. Brian Hill was one of our best starting running backs. That was the year when Deion Jones started to regress. Of course, Julio played like 6-7 games that year. Chris Lindstrom broke his ankle the first game. He didn't play a game in like a full game until week 15, I think. Of course, that was year Alex Mack was there too. Tack McKinnon. I don't even want to say that name on here.
Yeah, I was saying about Charles Harris because like he ended up having a really good like year or two for like Detroit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And then I think he went to the. I think he was on the Dolphins this year. He might have went to the Dolphins this year. I think. Deidre Sanat. When was the last time you heard that name?
Oh my God! Just now.
Luke Stalker, Peter. I don't even know how to say that name. Laquan Treadwell. I forgot about him. John Wetzel. Bleedy Ray Wilson. Man, oh man.
Oh, he was good that year actually too.
Yeah, had like 3 picks that year. Jacob Tudiota Mariner. Man, JT.
Oh yeah, the defensive tackle turned linebacker.
Wow. But yeah, that's literally naming the
Gerard Niesman.
That's literally naming the guys he had to inherit with the coaching staff he had. It's like
I'm trying to think of everybody that like just. I mean, obviously there was like Hayden Hurst and stuff, but I'm trying to think of all the people that was like
Andre Olison
looking at the ball just spinning, and then
10
yards.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah, well, he was in like the second level, but Brian Hill, that running back.
But that's literally just naming everything he had to deal with that year, plus Dirk Cutter, plus just like we did not have a lot of talent
and I just got done saying that, like, dude, if like 2 different plays like changed, like he would have had a winning record with us at that time.
Oh yeah. AJ Terrell pick. That's another one right there.
That he really could have just like held on to. Dude, we could have beat Kansas City in Kansas City and like held Mahomes to like 10 points, which at that point didn't even seem like a possibility.
Yeah, they were scoring 30. They were on a scoring. I mean, a 10 like an 8-week spree of scoring like 25 points or plus. Like nobody could stop that offense. And we held them to 17. The literally lowest amount of points they had that entire
Oh
year.
yeah,
Before
Edo Smith.
Edo Smith hasn't been on the team since we cut him. That's the crazy part. Him or Brian Hill haven't been on the team since we cut him.
I think Brian Hill was he?
No, that was
He was
Quadro
on
Ellison that went to the Cowboys.
Panthers.
Brian Hill went to the Panthers?
I think he went to the Panthers.
Let me see. Brian Hill. Running back. He has played. Let's see. Oh yeah, he was on San Fran. He played with San Fran. Wait, no, never mind. That's 1995.
I thought Cincinnati. 1995. What the heck?
Yeah, there was another player called Brian Hill back in 1995.
Yeah, I was looking at Cincinnati. It was like his last team.
Oh yeah, he played on Cincinnati. He played.
Oh man, Marlon Davidson.
Played with the Falcons. He played with us, cut him, went to Cincinnati, got cut, came back, got cut, went to Tennessee, then Cleveland, then San Fran back in 2021, then signed. He's been in the XFL. He was with the BC Lions and St. Louis Battlehawks in 2022 and 2023, and went on to be with the 49ers, but got cut on August 29th and got signed to the practice squad to the 49ers in 2023. And I'm guessing he's been on the practice squad or cut ever since. But yeah, that's who we had to deal with. That was one of actually our starting running backs on the team, if you don't believe it. He had over 55% of our carries that year, splitting it with Edo Smith. And who else was there that year? Quadro Ellison, whenever he came in. But yeah, we had one of the worst running back rooms in the league that year. I mean, we went from all of that to Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, man. God is good.
And Cordell.
And Cordell. And Avery
and
Williams.
And then hopefully Avery Williams again.
But, yeah, that's just, like, he had to deal with a lot that year, and then we're not even going to talk about the Buccaneers.
Wait a minute. If he win a championship with the Battlehawks, doesn't that mean that like him and D. Alford were teammates at one point?
When did we sign D. Alford? That was last year, right?
Yeah.
He was with the Battlehawks. Wait, no, that's the wrong one.
Unless they won like back-to-back championships. I don't know if they won the same thing.
Yeah, he was with the Battlehawks. Oh, wait, never mind. He got released from them August 21st, 2023, before the season even started. And then that same day he got released, he went to the 49ers, and then they cut him 8 days later and then re-signed him to the practice squad. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Alfred is from the CFL.
Oh, wasn't his team also named the Battlehawks or something like that?
I think so. They were like a bluish white team. I think I forgot.
Yeah, I remember looking at their. Let's see. Was it the Blue Bombers? Is that one?
The amount of names, these are just random names. Like, oh yeah, Luke Stalker was our starting tight end along with Hayden Hurst.
I guess D. Alford was a part of the Blue Bombers.
Yeah. Terrence, see, I would definitely agree with you if second round quarterbacks were a lot more successful. See, the thing is, we just drafted a quarterback on day 2, and you've seen how that worked. And I had a second round grade on Desmond. I didn't have a first round. I had a second round grade on Desmond that year. And we just seen how that worked. Now, of course, you can say he didn't have a proper QB coach or good play calling, which I can totally agree on. But some of the accuracy issues that he had, some of the picks that he had, that's not coaching. That's just him being him. Like, you cannot lie. Like the Saints interception that he had both games. The Panther, I don't even want to say anything about the Panthers interception that he had. It just
I think Russell Gage starting wide receiver, that was more 2021 than it was 2020, because that was more of like Ridley's year.
Yeah. But yeah,
That was
So
when Ridley got all the hype about trying to be the wide receiver one, and then that led them. I don't know
yeah,
if it
that was
led
the
him,
year
but
he had
like
like
then he got the mental health stuff the year
that was the
after.
year he had like 1,364 yards, like 90 catches, and like 8 touchdowns, 8 9 touchdowns. He might have 10 touchdowns that year.
Dude, I
Every
had him in fantasy that year. Like
yeah, he was
I
going
was,
stupid that year,
yeah,
averaging
for like
like
the first like
95 yards.
5 or 6 weeks, just
Yeah,
amazing.
he was averaging like 95 yards throughout the year. I think like 6 catches, 95 yards throughout the year. He had a pretty good year. I mean, and especially the games when Julio Jones wasn't in, he had like I think every game Julio didn't play, he had like 100 yards. And then we all expected that to carry on with Arthur Smith, and the dude didn't even average 5 catches a game during those 5 games with us. So yeah, that was sad. Um, but yeah, so on to the good things, even more good things about Raheem. Um, I mean, like now, the one thing I do have is with, like you said, because I was listening to the stream while I wasn't on, with Zach Robinson being our offensive coordinator, which I think is a great hire, another one of those McVay Shanahan hires. So I mean, we'll probably end up hiring another offensive coordinator in the next 2 years. But with how these guys go on to be great
Yeah,
head coach,
the 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 McVay
Shanahan
coaching
tree.
tree kind of thing, where it's like, oh hey, I once like breathed around Sean McVay. Oh, cool, you're an offensive coordinator.
I
Like,
shook his hand one time. Oh, you want to be head coach? For real? For real? Yeah, let's do it. 5 years.
and that's how Zach Taylor got the position for Cincinnati.
Yeah, man, oh man. I mean, at least Zach Taylor's doing good. See, the thing is, the only people I can really say that aren't doing good from the Shanahan McVay tree is, of course, Brandon Staley, who just allowed 63 points to the freaking Raiders a couple of months ago. And was Nathaniel Hackett on there, or was that
No,
who?
he was.
Who was that? That it was another head coach that has been like pitiful. I just like seen a post about this. It was like all the head coaches that have like gotten hired. Raheem, it was Raheem, Kyle Shanahan. I mean, not Kyle Shanahan, Raheem, and a couple of more good head coaches that
Well,
were
it
in the.
was Mike McDaniel too.
Yeah, Mike McDaniels. Yeah, Mike McDaniels was in there. Um, was McVay in there? I mean, not was Matt LaFleur in there?
Well, I mean, technically, you could say like D'Amico Ryans and Robert Sala.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what I. Yeah, D'Amico Ryans was in there. Robert Saleh. I can't really grade him because the dude hasn't had a quarterback, and then the year he gets a quarterback, dude blows his Achilles out in a minute and 4 seconds of the season. So I can't really say that. But yeah, he's had some decent head coaches get hired and be able to go to the playoffs. Um, Now I will ask you about this, and I don't know if you discussed this already because I did kind of come into the podcast late, but with Zach Robinson being hired, and also with the wide receiver coach that we were planning on interviewing for the offensive coordinator spot, that coach Malik Neighbors and Thomas back in LSU. With that, do you think that we kind of trade or sign for a quarterback, or do you think we're kind of looking at this draft saying like we got to go get our franchise guy? Or even I've heard the idea that okay, you bring in a good quarterback coach and a good offensive coordinator and let them put their hands on Desmond Ridder and see what happens.
I don't think you take that last option. You can't and think that your job's secure,
Yeah,
especially with
I
this
don't,
fan base. No
I
way.
don't, I don't even think you'd be able to go into
I'm
the interview with that.
when
Yeah, let's fix Desmond. I don't really think you can do that.
when was that episode? Trying to look at it just to see. Like, was it a very recent one? Because I have it updated up to yesterday, when I guess they had like a Bobby Wagner on there. Let me see if there's a whole thing. Oh, okay. Raheem Morris. Okay, so it's in the same Bobby Wagner thing. All right, cool. I don't have Apple Podcasts, but I'm gonna look at it. Try to find it elsewhere. Oh, YouTube. Cool. Give that a listen. I'll let you guys check that out too.
Now, I have seen a lot of this lately, and I'm kind of surprised by this. But a lot of people have been talking about that even with Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman Trophy and throwing having 50 touchdowns, 40 passing, 10 on the ground, that he could slip to 8. That a lot of front offices think he's like one of the top quarterbacks, thinks he's a top 10 pick, but doesn't really think he's like a top 3 pick worthy guy. Like more of that like 6 through 10 range. So
Yeah, I can't trust draft buzz.
I can I've always said that, like, because a lot of people were saying that we were getting Justin Fields until like a week before, and they were like, "Oh, well, Kyle Pitts is probably going to be that 4 overall pick," and then it just like popped that everybody out of surprise. So maybe
Like, and the other thing too, it's like, yeah, you may not see him falling, but you got to remember Justin Fields went 11th.
True. He was supposed to be he was the some people
Dang,
had
your
him
top
go
3
first
pick.
overall. Some people had him go first overall and Trevor in some of their mock drafts. A lot of people had him going 3 to the 49ers.
It was like a very 1A, 1B, or 1C situation with Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
And then, like, the only other person that would have had anything else to say about it was Mac Jones, and he went to 15.
You know, now that I think about it,
Dude, Lamar Jackson went 32nd in his draft class.
he was. Oh yeah, people had him going top 16. I think
Like, he was the last pick in the first round. You just don't know sometimes.
Shoot. I mean, when you really look at it, that now that we like have hindsight of that draft class, who can really say that anybody separated themselves from anybody during that entire draft class? Because Trevor Lawrence has his on and off games. I mean, that 2022 year, 2022 year, he had a good year, bring his team to the playoffs. But it's like, other than that, like, what can you really say he did? Justin Fields you can say he hasn't had help. He doesn't really have the right coaches. The first 2 years didn't have a good line, and you can't really disagree with that. Zach Wilson just straight up sucks. Trey Lance is a third quarterback on the Cowboys right now, and man, oh man, who else was supposed to go there? And Mac Jones, yeah, Mac Jones had one good year, and ever since then, he's been garbo. So, I mean, you can't really say anybody.
Man, heck, Jordan Love, he slipped for what that was worth.
True. I'm surprised. I mean, that's really like God's grace.
I had no idea like when he was projected to go.
Some people said second round. Some people said middle of the first. Some people said top 10. And then some people.
It was very weird. I mean, even the year we got Ritter, like Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback in the first round, and he was like pick number 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was like talks of them being like, oh well, you don't know if you're going to take him or Ritter first or second, or they're all going to be like kind of boom, boom, boom. But no, it was like boom, then boom, and then boom. Like that was the discrepancy there between him and then like Ritter and Willis.
And then the crazy thing is Malik Willis was supposed to go like top 10 that year for what people were saying. Or like
especially to us at 8.
Yeah. I don't know why people mocked him to 8 a lot. Like it happened a lot.
Well, he did get drafted with an 8 in his number.
Oh yeah, number, what was that?
It's just like 86 or something.
Oh yeah, 87. 87. He got drafted 87. It went Kenny at 20. 26 hours later, it was Desmond at 74. Then 75, Matt Corral went. Then 12 picks later, then he went. And then who else? Was it Sam Howell? Yeah, Sam Howell.
Sam Howell was like the first pick of the 5th round, I want to say.
Yeah, like first or second pick of the 5th round. He was the most successful out of all of them, literally. Well, not the most successful, but the best looking out of all of them. Like if you look at each and one of them stats.
Well, wait, wasn't Brock Purdy in that?
Oh yeah, forgot about Brocky. Yeah. Right. But the crazy thing is, like, everybody that was selected day 1 and 2 have done absolutely nothing. The last guy, the guys that were selected day 3, 5th and 7th round, and then the last pick of the draft, of course, ends up probably being the best quarterback out of all of them. It makes you wonder, like, how hard is it being a GM, man? Like when you really, like, who would have thought that out of all 253 picks, the guy that literally no other team wanted until the last pick of the draft, until NFL Network just closed down the draft for another year, would be the most successful out of everybody. Getting MVP recognition, doing this, doing that, breaking records. Like, who would have thought, man? And the only reason this happened was because Trey Lance and Sam Darnold got hurt. Wow. That is just
Well, Garoppolo too. He just
yeah,
naturally sucked, I guess.
and Garoppolo. That is just beyond crazy, man. Like,
Well, it's not even the GM too. It's like all the scouts and stuff that were kind of hyping up the GMs,
yeah, man.
and
Yeah,
all the TV guys.
I'll never respect Mel Kiper, but like after he said Malik Willis was a top 10 worthy talent and top 10 pick, after that I was just like, I can't believe the thing that comes out of this man's mouth anymore. Like the sad thing is this guy gets paid some of the most money on ESPN, but he's wrong the most on ESPN about anything when it comes to the draft. Like,
Yeah, at least like, hey, if you guys decide to listen to us, hey, we don't really get any money out of this, and so because of that, there's no risk, you know.
but shoot, we still more right than him, and like that's the sad part. Like, out of the last 2 years of doing this and the last 2 years of talking about draft, most of the guys that we said could be pretty decent, most of the guys we said that be drafted in that certain spot, that could slip, that could do this and do that, 60% of the time we were right. We were right about Bijan, right about KP, right about Drake London those last couple of that last month to the last couple of weeks. I mean, it's like,
I'm still pending on whether or not I'm right on Arnold Ebiketie becoming like a similar Justin Houston type
yeah.
player.
I mean, 6.5 sacks and he barely played. I mean, if you give the dude a little bit more play time, I think he could have had 10 sacks this year.
And
I
then
don't think
like
he
we
could.
just
I
read
think he
about
would.
the stats that Raheem Morris provided for the DNs over in LA.
Yeah. So I got a question, and everybody in the chat can answer this too. So Evero has a head coaching interview with was it Seahawks or Commanders? I think it was Seahawks. I'm pretty sure it was Seahawks. Because I think the commander job is Ben Johnson's to lose at this point. I think that deal is just waiting for him to be knocked out of the playoffs so he can fly to Washington, sign it, get the jersey, tie the suit up, get the hat, get his office, and get to work. But if Evero isn't hired, or if he we can talk about both. If he is hired, who do you think is some more good defensive coordinator options to go to? And it could be internal too. Like there could be a guy here that you could say that'd be a good defensive coordinator.
Is Matt P still around on our coaching staff?
Was that our? Who was that? Was that our? I don't think so. I don't quote me on that, but I don't think so. I think he got let go when Dean Pease left.
Hang on. Matt Pease was hired defensive assistant in 2021. 2022. I don't know if he's still here. There hasn't been anything about like him being let go. Not to say that he's my number one candidate, but I'm just kind of thinking like internally. Arthur Smith for defensive coordinator. Yeah, he certainly knows how to stop an offense. Just going the wrong way about it, I guess. It's yeah, Millie Mills. If you're just tuning in, I was going to think about heading over to Atlanta for a week, whatever it is that the Falcons Saints play. That's the week I'm hoping to kind of get off to head over there. Vic Fangio was let go in Miami too. Don't know what can happen with that. Obviously, you got the Joe Barry getting fired. Yeah, Jerry Gray's still kind of here. He's still a co-defense coordinator. Well, now he's just a singular. So we may not need to fill that position if he thinks he can take on the rest of the responsibility. Oh, he is. Jeez, man. There's so much movement happening in this moment. All I know is that I don't want Sean Desai.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's the Eagle. That's the Eagle, the old defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. Please, please, please. Raheem, I know you know a lot of guys in this league that still can coach. If there is a cornerback coach, a linebacking coach, a defensive line coach, then you just want to say, let's give him a chance. Give him a chance, but please don't sign him.
In fact, maybe Frank Smith. I don't know. Linebackers coach right now.
Jerry Gray. Give Jerry Gray the reins and see what happens. I mean, we were
Well,
I mean, we were gonna bring him in. We interviewed him last year for defensive coordinator, and they ended up signing him to the DB coach. So obviously, some people. I mean, we had some type of interest in him coaching the entire defense until we got to Ryan. So if you want a guy, if you want an internal guy, I guess you can go Jerry Gray or Frank Smith. Some other guys I can think of are the Cowboys D-line coach. There were some rumors that we had some interest in him. Even though that's I'm kind of iffy with that because he has had that D-line looking pretty good until they got just straight up power, like just whopped during the wild card game. That team was pretty bad in run defense though, so I don't know if we want to do that. But then again, our D line is kind of bigger than they are. Like that other than Michael, well, yeah, Michael Parsons is probably one of the biggest guys on the D line. He's like 250, so they don't have the biggest D line. Now, if ever
I was just getting curious about Jeff Ulbrich.
Oh yeah,
defense coordinator for the Jets too. We used to have him. I think he's kind of staying. I think he just got word that he was one of the coaches for the Senior Bowl.
Oh wow, was he one of the coaches last year? Or so years ago? I know I heard that.
I think last year, wasn't it like us in New England?
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that was Marquise Williams. That was the head coach.
Yeah.
Teams. But yeah, that's one.
Dude, I don't know why, but like reading this just made me think of Isaiah Oliver again.
I can't even lie. Oliver wasn't even really that small. They just used him wrong, like a lot, and then they developed it wrong too. Like he never was the guy that was like, oh yeah, we're just gonna put him on an island at Colorado. Like he always had some kind of safety help. And then he played a lot of cover 2 at Iowa too. Like he was like kind of like twitchy, and then he played the slot a lot. And then by the time they put him in the slot, everybody just kind of the bad taste in their mouth about him. So it's like, his confidence.
I mean, yeah, they're doing something right over there in San Fran. Obviously, him and I think it was like Ward, right? Was the other corner?
Yeah, Travarius Ward.
Lenore. He's a very physical dude over there too. Brent Grimes is before Dan Quinn. He was more with Mike Smith.
Yeah.
But yeah, him and Dante Robinson, the concussion himself. Got him and Samuel too. Marquand Manuel.
Yeah. I forgot about him. I'm not gonna lie to you. I forgot he existed.
Isn't he? I don't know why, but part of me thinks he's in Green Bay or something right now.
I heard about that a couple years ago. I did. Or was that this year? Well, last year.
Oh, he's the safety coach for the Jets too. Makes sense. He played for the Packers. That's why.
Now, if Evero isn't kept, would you like would that be like another Zach Robinson like slam dunk type coordinator hire?
I think it could look like it. Yeah, you did mention that he was getting another interview in Seattle, so that's
Something
where
to
he was
watch.
last found. And who else like needs a coach still? It's obviously like Seattle.
Yeah, it's just Seattle and the Commanders.
Hmm. Wonder what's going to go on with the enemy over there.
I don't think he's getting a job, to be honest. Like I really don't.
Like, dude, I don't know what it is, but he's been like getting those rumors for like 7 years or something right now. Just
Ever since the 2019 season when they had won their first Super Bowl, he's been getting rumors about being a head coach, and he just like never has like it all. Like he's had plenty of interviews. I think the dude's had like 25 interviews in the last 5 years. Like, well, actually, no, I don't even think he got an interview this year. That's crazy. I don't think. But then again, the offense he coached were kind of tortured. Like they suck, and it's not like he had an offensive minded head coach like with him. Like he was the head coach of the offense, and they didn't do very well most of the season. So it's like, now that we've seen him
I
with like
mean,
somebody
he
else,
could just go back in Kansas City, and then that leaves with Matt and Nagy or somewhere else to go. But I don't know. I don't really care.
shoot, is what
Chris Jones is a free agent, possibly. Let's see. That's quite the name. Then again, you probably because their GM, I think Brett Veach, has really been known to do wonders with their cap space. So let's take a look at Kansas City.
another Mickey Loomis, just backload everything, or like actually get cap space and not have to worry about being $78 million under the cap.
It's
Whoa.
probably like voidable years kind of stuff.
Kind of like what Terry Fondo does, pay him a line the first 2 years, and you can like void it in the back
I
end.
think so. Oh yeah, Steven Jackson. I think he's either like a safety or secondary coach too.
That's also what I'm wondering. Is Raheem going to coach the secondary? Or is he going to hire somebody to do that? That's because he was a secondary coach. When he was here, he's also a wide receiver coach. So
Yeah, Millie, you can already assume that Ragon is like Ragon.
yeah, he's
Thanks to Raheem.
Ragon was under contract. Well, yeah, he was under contract with us, but like when you fire your head coach, you're basically firing everybody else. Now, of course, we did keep Marquise Williams. We did keep him. I would expect to keep Dwayne Leffert on the offensive line coach because he's just done wonders.
The correct D-led.
Yeah, that's the GOAT right there, not the other one. Who else should we have?
Dude, you really think the Bears game was the problem?
Oh, gee, that can name plenty of games. The first Panthers game, Lions and Jaguars game,
second Panthers game.
second Panthers game. I mean, like that entire season, we just had trouble scoring. Other than, of course, the 7 wins. The Buccaneers game that we won, we scored 16 points. But then again, we had 3 fumbles, so we were driving downfield. What other wins did we have that we were kind of low scoring? No, we blew the Colts out. Put up 24 and 25 on the Packers and Panthers. Who else did we beat? The Saints. We put up 24. But no, we put up 17 points because of the pick six. So yeah, that's another game you can say we kind of low scoring. Yeah, that offense was kind of putrid. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The Houston game, yeah, we put up 21. Yeah, that's the only term. That's the only term I'd accept Ragone and coach to be in the same sentence. As if you're talking about flights. Oh, Washington as well.
Oh yeah, that game, Lord have mercy. Now, of course, the picks didn't help, but it's like we didn't really do anything to like help it. Like two of those picks, I can really say were on Desmond, the end zone pick where he just threw it up and sent about 30 prayers in 10 seconds. And then the Bijan pick was really like 50-50. Like that was like dead serious, like 50-50. Like Bijan started going up and let the linebacker get his inside. Desmond threw it like kind of behind him, but it was still like to where it needed to be. So you couldn't really put the blame fully on him. So that's like a 50-50 type of thing. The now the to be I can't put the blame on anybody on that first pick that he threw to Kendall Fuller because it looked like Bijan was supposed to rest. And it looked like he was trying to hit an out route to Van Jefferson, and then that play was just discombobulated from the start. So I can't really put the blame on anybody for that one. But that
Well,
Washington,
you can put the blame on Ragone. So
yeah, we can't put the blame on him for the passing concepts and design. We definitely can. I also forgot. I seen a rumor earlier from Tom Pelissero, or it may have been Ian Rapport, one of the two, that said that the Seahawks are interested in Mike McDonald, the Ravens defensive coordinator. So they might have to wait like 3 more weeks for that hire. Will they? I have no idea. It still is a lot of good coaching candidates out there. Ben Johnson, Bobby Stoic, Mike McDonald, Aaron Glenn. You got out there. If he wanted to include Frank Smith as a literal wild card, like probably not going to get one this year, or maybe next year, could include him too. Anthony Weaver is another one.
yeah.
Who else is out there right now? Oh yeah, Steve Wilkes has got a couple interviews. The 49ers defensive coordinator, he's got a couple looks, so you could maybe think about that. Like I said, this year was like a deep year for coaching candidates, and then of course you still got Dan Quinn, Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, Pete Carroll was looking at the Chargers, looking at that maybe. But yeah,
Harbaugh's going to need to build his own staff there too. So don't know what's going to come of that.
I think they just hired the Michigan defensive coordinator to be the defensive coordinator in Los Angeles. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. And then anybody with Tennessee with Brian Callahan, I think.
Maybe I don't even think they've hired anybody yet, to be honest.
Didn't they bring in Callahan?
No, I'm saying like they brought in Callahan, but like I don't think they've hired anybody for the like coaching staff yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna lie. If I had to predict the last 2 spots this year, I think I'm like 95% there with Ben Johnson going to the Commanders, just because of the familiarity he has with the owner. I mean, not the owner, but the GM, and how much they've had rumors of wanting him. Now, like I said, that literally just happened with us and Belichick. You see what happened with that, but that's kind of my lock for that head coaching position. I mean, well, coaching job, even though you can never really lock a head coaching job. And for the Seahawks, to be honest, I think it's really a toss up between McDonald and Dan Quinn for me. Because, like I said,
you think Mike Vrabel would step back down as a DC somewhere?
You probably have to.
Or is he kind of?
I don't think he'd want to sit at the house all year this next year. I really don't think so.
Especially the household he has.
Yeah, I really don't think so. I think he probably, if he doesn't get the, I mean, yeah, you can also put Vrabel in that conversation for the Seahawks and for the Commanders. I think more for the Seahawks though.
But then he might bring in Arthur Smith
for his OCs. Yeah. So, to be honest, I don't really know what you could do. I think it's between, for me, I think it's like 50-50 between Dan Quinn and McDonald. Dan Quinn for the familiarity, and he was the DC back in 2013 through 15. So, 2012 through 14. So that could happen, but also McDonald because of just how ferocious that freaking Rams. I mean, not Rams, but Ravens defense has been all year. Has been like they've been top three in every category this year all year: rushing defense, passing defense, turnovers, sacks, pressures. I mean, just anything you can name that's a good statistical stat for defense. The Ravens are top five, top three in it. So he's done a pretty good job with them. Um, but yeah,
Dude, if you want that, watch 2012. I want to see Ravens Lions.
I think everybody wants to see. I just don't have a like. The gut feeling of me says that the Lions are just gonna go in there and in that stadium tomorrow, just set the tone from the first play and win that game off of like a late field goal. But then it's also in me that it's like, who doesn't want a Raven like a Chiefs 49er Super Bowl? And I'm like, the league would do something like that. Like
Dude, the league would also do something like, because remember the kickoff game was Lions Chiefs.
oh yeah, rematch, week one rematch. Like the thing,
Like
like they have
the
so
very
many,
first game and then the very last game of the NSL season is the same game.
like you like, and then the thing is like it's so much like
That's like the same thing as like last year's Royal Rumble, because that's going on right now. With Gunther and Cody. It's like number 1, number 30. Duke can get out for the last spot at the end.
see, it's so many headlines they could like really come up with this. I mean, you got two teams trying to get their first ring and two quarterbacks trying to get their first ring in Lamar and Lions. They also got a Super Bowl 54 rematch with the Chiefs and the 49ers. Then you got Chiefs versus Lions rematch of week 1. And then you got Ravens 49ers rematch of what was that? Super Bowl 40, what would that be?
7?
Yeah, 46, 47, something like that.
46 was Giants Patriots, so yeah,
Yeah,
47.
yeah, so 47. Yeah. So rematch of Super Bowl 47. And like it's so many headlines they could do. And then the Super Bowl is in what? Is it in Las Vegas this year? Or was
Yeah.
it? Yeah, it's in Las Vegas this year. So
It's
that's
also in Bikini Bottom.
hey, a lot of money. That's all I'm gonna say. Any headline they do is a lot of money. So I expect some good games tomorrow, man. I really do.
If nautical football be something you wish.
I got score. I got to put the scoring predictions out tomorrow. Okay, so I'm not gonna go with how I feel. I'm gonna go with what I want. I got the Lions winning tomorrow, 27-24, game-winning field goal off of a Brock Purdy interception on their game-winning drive turns into the Lions game-winning drive. They kick a field goal to win the game, and then I got Lamar Jackson saying, "You know what? Enough is enough. They're not going to another Super Bowl. I'm going to my first. I'm going to get my first ring." And they set the tone and win 34-24.
Yeah, and they better actually play it and not do the freaking thing that Travis Scott did back in 2018 and really disrespected Steven Hillenberg like that. Still kind
Oh
of
yeah.
ticked about that. They really teased it and like didn't decide to do anything and just went back with the whatever he had from friggin' Astro World or something like that. Yeah, actually play it this time, please.
I'm telling you, man, Ravens 49ers Super Bowl would feed families, man. I'm telling you. Like that is the Super Bowl that everyone wants and what everyone needs. I'm telling you, man.
Especially when you're playing it in Vegas, right? Which means that it could very well look similar to the Bubble Bowl.
Who do you think wins that Ravens 40? I mean, that Ravens Lions Super Bowl if that did happen or if that does happen?
Or Ravens Lions Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Who do I think would, or who do I want to?
Who do you think would? I mean, we all know we want the Lions to win. They get their first ever, but it's like, who do you think would win that?
I'd still probably go Lions, actually.
You think so? I mean, that team does play pretty hard. Like Now the last time they did play the Ravens,
Dude, the Ravens will have some weird games every now and then, and you just don't know like why they would still let certain teams be in it. Like they had that close game with the Rams. They lost to Gardner Minshew this year.
they also got swept by the Steelers.
Yeah,
Yes, they got swept by
in
the
really
Steelers.
awkward fashion. Now, the second game, sure, that was like their practice squad and stuff, but the
Yeah, the
first
first
game,
game
what the heck happened there? Like,
also got into a shootout with the Browns. It was 33-31. The Browns won that game. Couple of pick sixes in that game too. Yeah.
so you don't know.
And then you got the Ravens that can just blow out any like in literal one. I
Now,
mean, any
yeah, they
team
did face each other before, and then that's when the lines just.
got mollywopped. It was like
But
38.
that was in Baltimore. This is
Yeah,
in a neutral
just
playing
neutral
field,
zone.
so
Yeah,
you gotta expect something to come about that.
38-6. They blew out the. I think that was back-to-back weeks. They blew out the Seahawks and the Rams. It was like 38-3 with the Seahawks and 38-6 with the Rams. I'm like, they're on a mission this year. I see. See the reason I also say I think the Ravens win tomorrow. The Chiefs have a lot of injuries tomorrow. Kadarius Toney's out. Joe Tooney's out.
Oh,
Oh, he will. Yeah, Drop Salad is out. Joe Tooney's out. Isaiah Pacheco was out. That's another one. Isaiah Pacheco was out. Um,
they still might
I
get
guess
a couple good runs from Clyde
Jerry
Edwards-Helaire if they
McKinnon.
remember him.
Yeah, or Jerry McKinnon. Um,
Jeez, they still have him.
yeah, I don't know who's the second or third running back on it. All I know
Man,
is
check
Isaiah
who else do
Pacheco.
they have. Do they have Le'Veon Bell again? Do they have Sean McCoy again?
Maybe it still ticks me off. LaShawn McCoy got 2 rings for free. Like that is like just you suited up and you sat on the sideline all game. That's all you did.
Yeah, they said. Okay, so Pacheco's playing tomorrow, dude. If Mark Andrews is playing tomorrow,
Oh yeah, Mark Andrews is
you
playing
got to
tomorrow.
assume that Pacheco is going to try again.
Because I seen something that said Pacheco was like questionable for the game. I don't know what the injury was or when he. Wait, when was it? Was a play last week in like the third, maybe like late second quarter. He got hurt and Jared McKinnon came in, so that may be whatever injury that was, maybe aggravating him. But hey, again to get to the Super Bowl, like Frank Ragnow said last week, I don't care if I have a broken ankle. I'm not coming out this game until we won. So he
Heck,
probably has the same mentality.
we had a center with a broken leg
Hey,
in the Super Bowl.
who was that?
Alex Mack.
His dang, I forgot his leg was broke. How much pain do you have to go through with that? I mean, like
Ask Jack Young. He did that too, back in the '80s.
didn't Terrell Owens do that too with the Eagles?
It
Or
was
was
more
that
like an ankle thing,
yeah, that was an ankle.
not an entire leg, but still put up like
100 yards in a
7
game?
catches, 120, something like that. There was that one season where I think Rod Woodson like tore his Achilles and then came back that same season to play in the Super Bowl. Like I know it was like Steelers Cowboys. So, yeah.
Man, it's gonna be a good football week. It's been pretty good football weekend, man. We got our head coach, got the OC we wanted, man. NFC championship games are tomorrow. And we're still signing. We're still getting ready to sign coaching staffs and all that. Free
Yeah.
agencies up.
Any other moves? any other things that I gotta check on and read about right now before we
Before
end
we
this
cut
thing?
off. Before we cut off, man, y'all want to hire a defensive coordinator right quick?
I don't know.
Say forget the interview. You want to be a defensive coordinator one more time, one more year, prove your point even more. Hey, man, I kind of expect that move Monday. Well, yeah, like Monday. I don't think they'd do a hiring on the day of championship day. Like I don't think they do that. Maybe we're just ballsy like that. Maybe they do. Maybe we're like, you know what, man, forget the NFC champ. We're going to be there next year anyway. We're hiring our coach. Even though it won't be a top headline for like a whole day, you know. hey, we're the Falcons.
Get the
We
league
will,
talking about us again.
yeah. I mean, they already are. They were talking about us with Belichick for 2 weeks. Now they're talking about, wow, you guys hired Raheem over
They were
Billy. Yet
talking
we did.
about Belichick. They weren't really talking about us.
Okay, yeah, you're right. But now they're talking about how we deserted him and like, why would you hire Raheem over him? Like, see, like they the same thing with Lamar Jackson. They did the same thing. They said you took Desmond Ritter.
How come you didn't want him?
How
Yes,
come you didn't want the guy? Like, dude, like, see, the thing with and before we got the thing with
Well,
Lamar
guess
is we
what,
were
dude?
never going to get him.
The other teams didn't hire him either.
That's the like. Why are y'all focusing on us? Like, why is it
Like,
always
where was the heat for the Titans to say that, huh?
or the Panthers who hired the Bucks offensive coordinator after 1 year? We actually got a guy that's probably more likely chance of competing in y'all
something.
I mean, everybody's, oh yeah, this is a perfect fit. They got the defense. They just don't have the core. Like, yeah, we don't have a quarterback. And the dude's drafted 15 quarterbacks in his career, and one of them has been good. 15 and one accidentally. Has been good. And accidentally, no one was expecting a 6th-round pick from Michigan University.
He was a 4th stringer and had to get his number from a punter.
And the only reason he played because your first 3 guys got hurt.
And Drew Bledsoe, and you didn't draft him.
Oh, like you were the only reason. I'm pretty sure the only reason they selected him was like, well, we got to select somebody. Might as well select the tall guy. What's his name? Tom Brady. Oh yeah, draft him. Put the card in. Probably won't be anything anyway. Like, let's be honest, guys. Who do you really think Bill Belichick back in 2000 was like? You know who our next franchise quarterback is going to be? Our 6th-round pick out of Michigan. And guess what else he's going to be? The greatest quarterback to ever touch the earth. Yep, 6 Super Bowls. Most successful, 6 Super Bowls, 9 appearances, 13 AFC championship games, with an extra NFC championship game. And then he goes to the Bucks his first year and wins a Super Bowl 2 and beats the Chiefs so they can't go back to back. Yeah, that guy. He's going to be him. Our 6th-round pick. Yep, most definitely. Man. No, how do we always get ourselves in these situations, man? Like, first it was Deshaun. Huh? Oh, you're trolling. Oh, you're trolling. That's a great bout. That's great trolling. I can't even be mad at you. That is terrific trolling.
I would rather have Bill O'Brien.
Oh, okay, that's pushing. That's pushing. Wow. I can't see. I can go far, but I can't go that far. Bill O'Brien. You talk about the same guy that traded prime DeAndre Hopkins for a fourth, and David Johnson. That
being said, I'm glad that it's not happening.
Because he probably would have hired him as his offensive coordinator or QB coach, or just say, hey, you be GM. You know what? I don't need to be GM. Bill, go be GM. What is it with all the Bills? You get Bill Belichick, Bill O'Brien. Man, get these Bills away from me, man. Jeez.
Yeah, heck, even the Buffalo Bills. Just
Lord have mercy, man. Wow, like I'm saying, first it was Deshaun. Got talks in Deshaun, ran Matt Ryan away. Decent GM. What is it with all
anyways,
y'all?
Hey guys.
What is it with y'all saying Terry is terrible? Do y'all expect this man to hit on every 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th-round, 7th-round pick that we have? It's nearly impossible to do. John Lynch does it.
Anyway.
Man, y'all gotta stop.
Anyway.
Y'all really got to,
man. I think we're done here. We're done here.
This is like really, really getting annoying, man.
So yeah, as far as I can tell, there's no other news. So I think we can end this off right now because we just hit the 2-hour mark, and I don't want to go off of it just because of some just really out there comment. Anyways, I think that's going to be it. So we'll keep in touch. Maybe we could do something next week. I don't really have anything else planned other than like our soundtrack brackets. I still want to get back to that because there's a couple of the game series I want to introduce to other people too, Trey as well. So, all right, well that's gonna do it for tonight. Anything that you want to add, Trey? It better
Hey
not be
man, I don't care what you think about the hire. I don't care if you love it, hate it, like it, or despise it. We're gonna support Raheem the Dream. He's gonna bring us our first. Do you understand me?
Now's his chance to redeem.
Hey man, that was beautiful. Wow, great. Hey man, that was clean. That was clean.
And we just spent 2 hours trying to think about what we can glean from this hire.
Well, you did. You did. I spent about an hour. You spent
and I was dang near supreme.
I commend you for that, man. Commend you for that one. But yeah, man. Thanks for tuning in. Most likely be back on next week because he'll probably have his whole coaching staff on next week, so we can do that. Might even have a mock draft for y'all next week. I've been doing a lot of them, so might even have a seven round mock draft for y'all next year. They updated our picks, so now we have that extra 3rd round pick that we're supposed to have. So I don't have to do any little forced trades or anything. Whole draft. I'm gonna have a mock draft for y'all next week, man.
All right. Well, we'll stay tuned until then. Appreciate you guys watching, and see you later.
Peace.